the Food and Drug Administration monitors our food, right? So we have safe food that's put on the table. The products that are sold to us, cleaning supplies, makeup, personal care products, those are not monitored like the FDA monitors food. So they can put products on the market and they are not proven safe until they're proven guilty. In the United States, there's over 80,000 chemicals. There's only been 11 banned. People have to really take that in because we are the guinea pigs.
Our guest today is a Household Toxins Health Specialist and the head guru at the Green Living Gurus. She's an entrepreneur, activist, educator, and a change maker, leading an amazing effort to raise awareness on chemicals that are dangerous to our health, that manage to easily find their way into our homes and common products and household goods. She's an expert at helping guide you to healthier choices for yourself, your family, and yes, that also includes your pets. And she's here today to educate us on the benefits of alternative products, such as her eco-friendly product line, T's Organics, which are a great alternative to keep your home sparkly clean while also reducing air and water pollution to help better preserve the environment. Welcome to the show, the host of Green Living with T, my friend, Therese T. Forton-Barnes.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that wonderful introduction.
I'm so excited to have you here. Funny enough, I realized that we started working together about a year ago, almost to the day, and I've been wanting to get you on the program for now that exact amount of time, and it's finally worked. I know you have your podcast, Green Living with T. I have mic'd up, and we're both doing a lot around the show. And I knew it was just like a pause. All I had to do was just, what did I have to do, T? Just ask you, right? You were just moving. We're moving at 100 miles per hour. And I was like, hey, T, I've been wanting to get you on the show. What do you think? And here we are.
I love it. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so happy to, help out whoever's listening and anyway, live a little less toxic life.
Yes, let's get rid of those toxins. Guys, you can check out T at thegreenlivinggurus.com. Also, she's all over on Facebook and Instagram and other social media. She does have her show available on YouTube as well to make it extremely easy to connect. Don't worry about writing down the website or anything. It's in the show notes and it's all clickable. So you guys can go there, check it out, and connect with T. So I have a little setup, and then we're going to roll right through some questions that I designed in particular for you, knowing that you can help our audience. I want to see what I could pull out of you here and really help them out, including myself. I'm your first audience member today because I'm going to be taking a lot of notes.
I know, and you've been obviously listening to all my podcasts, and I love all your feedback. So this is great. Let's
dive right in then. So before we get into, and again, I feel it's going to be a masterclass today on healthy living, and there's so many different things we can cover on that. But I'd like to hear more about you and your story first. So let's take a deeper dive there. I know you have an entrepreneurial story, even before Green Living with T and T's Organics, which you're doing now. But you also had a successful business called Events to a T. Always clever with your names. You organized over 700 events, which is incredible. Absolutely wild. Can you share how that journey began? Like, did you grow up in an entrepreneurial family that kind of showed you the way, or was that just something like out of college you said, I'm going to start my own company? How did that all begin?
I think it started with my lemonade stand out in front of our house, honestly. My parents always wanted us to work as kids. We always were encouraged to do jobs as children, and I was babysitting. And so it started with that. But then the entrepreneurial part, it was sort of in my blood, I guess. It's not in my family per se, but I grew up in a very healthy household in the 1960s and 70s in Buffalo. And we ate all organic food. My mother shopped at the Little Lexington Co-op here in Buffalo. And it was just how I knew life. I knew it as having apples and oranges when I came home from school and not Burger King or pizza. And I didn't know any better. And as I got a little bit older into high school, I started realizing we were abnormal. I mean, I think I'd been called a granola head many times. Back then, that was one of the terminologies. And I was teased.
Could have been much worse, but I'll take it.
Could have been
yeah.
much worse. I was teased. I always had the lunch that my mom made us. And
You didn't have snack pack chocolate pudding, I'm
no,
guessing.
definitely not. And I never drank soda or pop, as we call it in Western New York.
Mhm.
And that's just the way we grew up. And my mother also was way ahead of her time, realizing that toxic chemicals were in all these different products, and that she really had us using natural products to clean with, natural products to use. And so that's how I grew up. I went to college. And when I was in college, I had a major in business and a minor in health, because I wanted to open up a supermarket that had all these products that you could get from around the country. And everybody knows that store now is Whole Foods. That was my business plan, but Whole Foods beat me to the punch. Anyway, so I came out of college as a party planner. I was a party planner in college. I was a party planner before college, unbeknownst to my parents, that were probably my first internship, because I was throwing parties all the time without them even knowing. They laugh at it now, but it wasn't funny back then.
It's interesting.
Anyway,
You were learning organizational skills, even though the event wasn't something that maybe your parents would have been proud of or anything, but you still had to connect everybody, and you had to find a way to spread the word, and you were doing marketing. And it's kind of funny to think about it that way. But yeah, whether you're throwing a party for your girlfriends or a Super Bowl party, which is coming up in a couple of weeks here. I know that's a sore subject here in Buffalo, but the fact is you had that like little entrepreneurial event planner thing going on already from a young age.
I did. And I when I came out of college, I had a business plan to open up this supermarket, but I came out of college and got this job with an event planning company here in Buffalo. And the event planning industry was just taking off in the 80s when I graduated in 85. It wasn't even an industry. Now it's a massive industry. And so I got that job. And then luckily, one of my first clients was Jim Kelly, coming here to Buffalo from Texas. And I'm still doing work for him 37 years later. So I had this event planning business and love it. And as you said, I've planned over 700 events, but it's never left me. The green living space has always been inside of me ever since I wanted to open up a health food store. And so the past 37 years, I have done exactly what I wanted to do. And that was to educate people and to help people get healthier and really get toxic chemicals out of their homes. And really over the past, I'd say, decade or so, the chemicals industry has taken off, and so has cancer. And I've seen aunts and uncles die. My mother actually ended up getting cancer because she swam in a swimming pool every day of her life, and was actually eventually those chemicals took her life. My poor mother, who told us never to, use chemicals. But anyway, so that's where it all transpired. And in 2020, prior to the pandemic, at age 57, I was at that time, I said, I planned all these events. I really want the next 20 years, the rest of my life, really to help people get healthier and avoid these chemicals. I've seen too many people suffer from so many illnesses and diseases that are potentially caused by all these chemicals that they're using, and people don't know. And it's hidden. A lot of it's not told to us. We are the guinea pigs. And so 2020, I started Green Living Gurus and my podcast, and then the pandemic hit, and probably was the best thing for me because I couldn't plan any events. And then I met somebody like you that really helped me with my podcast, thankfully. And that's where I am today. And then through that, in the past 2 years, I was thinking about this yesterday. I'm like, wow, my head's spinning. That's been a whirlwind, because I never set out to create Tease Organics as well, which is the product line, as you mentioned. And that's starting to take off. And so there's all these things that I just feel like it's been a really wild ride for 2 years for me. And I'm very excited to see where it goes from here as well.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And guys, I've known T for a year, as I mentioned earlier in the episode here, and I did not know that entire story. So I've been sitting here excited to hear it. And I want to make sure we don't just move past it, because I knew there was a reason that I'm bringing T on, aside from her being a friend with a great brand that she's building and wanted to showcase it on the show. But I knew a little bit about the story, how she transitioned. And I want everybody to think right now that if you're doing something that maybe you have this heart tug and you're not in your calling right now, how can you transition and how can you take, like T did, her skills that she had from planning events with friends and planning throughout these, whether it's a college party or a Super Bowl party or something, and then eventually getting hired by Jim Kelly, one of the greats in football. And she took that and ran with it. But also she had instilled in her heart from a young age, from, I'm going to call her the OG, Mama. Your mom really was the one who started to teach you these things about eating healthy, living healthy. And unfortunately, chemicals got her in a different, unique situation with her swimming. But I think it's really a beautiful story that you have, where you took the seeds that were planted in you and in your heart, and you started to plant them and grow, no pun intended, with green living, but it is
That's
kind of a
right.
cool little analogy there. And then you use your skills that you had and the things you were learning in school and your talents and gifts, and you turned it into a company. You ran that company until you felt, hey, there's more I want to do here. And I want to really do things that are helping people get rid, of toxins in their home and in their bodies. You've done a beautiful job at that. And the last part of that I wanted to kind of unpack was the fact that you are in your mid 50s and you're still like willing to get real and be real about, hey, I don't know everything. I'm going to hire someone to help me with my podcast, which I was grateful that you reached out to me. We didn't know each other, so that was kind of a cold call situation, which was cool. And then we become friends, but you also have built things and you haven't like shied away from something if you don't know how to do it. You're someone who is very resourceful, and I think that's a great entrepreneurial gift, is to know when you need to step back and say, I need to put people in place to be successful because this isn't my cup of tea, and I need to be doing X, Y, Z. And you've done a really great job with balancing that out. So I just want to give you some love for that. I think it's awesome that you're at this age, like, I'm going to start something new and do what I've been wanting to do for 30 years.
Thank you. Yeah, it was scary. Anytime you make a change in life, but I knew deep down this was meant to be. And taking that step was, it was hard. I mean, I was going into social media. I mean, I had a Facebook page, but I didn't know what I was getting into with that. Podcast, didn't even know. I mean, I was being trained and coached in it. And they're like, you need a podcast. I'm like, podcast? Oh my God. I think back to some of my first episodes. I mean, and as you said, it's important to ask for help and to hire help and not try to do it all on your own. So that is key when you're starting out anything, to try to get, even if it's free help, even if it's interns, which I still rely on. Mm-hmm. I have an intern in California and an intern at Binghamton University that I find through LinkedIn. So it's just a matter of reaching out and getting others to help, and it benefits them as well. So pivoting was scary.
I can give you a testimony on that, T. I know you have a great team because I communicate with them weekly with emails, and you do have a great team in place. And if there's ever something that there's a question, they reach out, on your behalf. And it is, you've really built a great team around yourself, but also you are you, and you're doing the thing you're supposed to do, which is communicate, which is get one-on-one with your clients, get to understand their needs, see where they're at. And you don't come at them with this big hammer and wallop them over the head and say, you're doing it all wrong, or you're bad for eating this, or you're supposed to do this. You do it from a caring place, and I can see that. I could hear it in your voice in the podcast. So what we're going to do is take a quick time out. We have to hit our sponsorships. We got about 20 more minutes to rock and roll. And when we come back from the break, we're going to hear all the different ways that you can improve your home from a healthy living standpoint, a green living standpoint. He's going to give us some great pointers. So get your notepads ready when we come back. We're going to talk about Social Chameleon for a minute, which T kind of set up, and also Navigator Bookkeeping, which is our bookkeeping services that we use. We will be right back in 2 quick minutes. Hey guys, it's Mike. I'd like to give a proper shout out to Navigator Bookkeeping. Look, for a long time, I ran my business without really understanding the full financial picture. I used my gut and my bank account balance to make decisions, which led to some poor choices and constant stress over my business's finances. I knew something needed to change. At the beginning of 2021, I made a decision that helped pave a more clear path for my business. I started working with Navigator Bookkeeping. Since then, my bookkeeping has been handled for me. I now understand the full financial story of my business, making important financial decisions much easier now, and it helps me plan for where my business is going. I highly recommend giving Navigator Bookkeeping an opportunity to help your business. Check them out at navigatingyourbooks.com. Again, that's navigatingyourbooks.com. It's time to know the full financial story of your business. Podcasting is a great way to engage with your audience and stay consistently relevant. The only problem is you don't have the time or desire to produce your own show. You simply want it done for you, and that's where Social Chameleon comes in. All you need to do is press record and upload the files. We'll handle the rest. From planning, production, post-production, distribution, and digital marketing, we have you covered. We realize that times are tough and funds are tight, and Social Chameleon believes in building supportive business relationships. By clicking on the link in this promo, we'll provide you 7 free podcasting tips to get started, as well as a free 30-minute online consultation. This is the perfect opportunity for entrepreneurs, keynote speakers, industry experts, influencers, and anybody who has a personal brand. With Social Chameleon, we help you build a brand that is out of this world. We're ready and waiting, so what are you waiting for? Click on the link to get started today. So T, our audience today is more readily equipped with information than any other time, right? There's no surprise. People can Google healthy living. They can Google search healthy products, which is a great start. But the problem with all of that is that it becomes overwhelming. Like many products, options, all kinds of things coming at us. We're getting retargeted in ads. We don't always know what's the best for us. So that's where you come in. I really wanted you to take this time to help us out with some of the red flags that we need to be looking for in our product labels and some of the things that we do want to seek out and make sure they are included in the ingredients. So take it away from there. What should we be looking for on those product labels?
Okay. So first of all, I just want everybody to understand before we jump into why products need to be, why you need to read those labels and know your ingredients. So the Food and Drug Administration monitors our food, right? So we have safe food that's put on the table. The products that are sold to us, cleaning supplies, makeup, personal care products, those are not monitored like the FDA monitors food. So they can put products on the market and they are not proven safe until they're proven guilty, okay? So they will not be taken off the market unless there's proof that they're not safe.
And at that point, a lot of damage could be done.
A lot. Yeah. And you're starting to see that with like Roundup, okay? And there's over 140,000, last time I looked, lawsuits against Roundup. It's still on the market because Monsanto, who's now owned by Bayer, I think, but whatever, millions, billions of dollars are behind these chemicals in these chemical companies. So in the United States, that's how it works. In the European Union, you have to prove it's safe before you put it on the market. And it could be Chanel number 5 over there and Chanel number 5 over here. It could be different recipes for that matter. Those products, totally different, all right? In the United States, there's over 80,000 chemicals. There's only been 11 banned. When they ban a chemical, they find another one to put it in. And it's just the cycle of the chemicals that are put in our products and not tested. People have to really take that in because we are the guinea pigs. We are the ones that really have to watch out for ourselves. So whatever you put in your mouth, you want to know what's going in your body, right? Well, you should do the same thing when you put something on your skin, when you're shampooing your hair, when you're brushing your teeth, when you're cleaning your house, because all those chemicals are getting into your system one way or another. And it's a toxic soup in our bodies that potentially are causing havoc on our health. And the other thing, nobody knows how all those chemicals mix in our bodies as well. So if you're eating non-organic food with pesticides and you're putting something on your skin with benzene in it, I mean, those are cancer-causing chemicals. So you just have to, I try to get people to just be aware be aware, read your labels and turn them around and look at them and start questioning some of these ingredients. Some of the ingredients are 50 ingredients long. It's almost next to impossible to try to understand them. But once you start...
Is that a red flag, though? Like if you see something, I think it's
in
great
my
how you just
mind.
said that, too.
Yeah.
But if it's like something that looks like a really, really long word that basically it looks and sounds like a chemical, right?
Yeah, well, they all are. I look at some of these labels on even
if you
products
can't pronounce it and it just looks like some crazy
Yep.
thing, that's usually a red flag. But I like what you said there too, T, is number one is awareness. I think that's
Yes.
important for anything that we're looking to correct in life. If we have a bad habit, we don't correct it until we're aware of it, right? And needs to be made aware. But I think you're so spot on with like talking about the industry as a whole. And I'm not sitting here trying to bash anything. And this isn't going to be like that eye-opening because a lot of people know this now, and it's the education is there. But it like anything, it's a money-making business, and they're going to make money if they can sell a product. People are purchasing it. If it's not known that it's hurting someone, they're going to keep selling it until they can go, until questioned enough times. In a case you just mentioned, hundreds of thousands of issues with it, and then finally, then maybe the FDA may do something about it, But it takes a really long time. So you have to protect yourself and protect your family, because at what point is it too late? Right.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things then? Because a lot of times in fixing a problem, it's not what we can remove. It's like how we can be proactive. So what are things on a label that you're like, yeah, this is what we're looking for?
So the number one word that everybody can understand that is on a label, that if it were on any label I touch, I would never buy it. And it's the word fragrance. So fragrance will be on shampoo. Fragrance will be on laundry detergent. Fragrance will be on cleaning supplies, supposedly what they call air fresheners. And the word fragrance, another educational history lesson here, because if you understand history, you'll start to realize, wow, I can't believe this is the way it is. But in the 1940s, Chanel No. 5 and Coty, another perfume company, didn't want the other perfume companies to steal their recipe. So a law was created in the 40s. We're in 2022. In the 1940s, it still stands today that if you have the word fragrance on your product, you do not have to disclose what those ingredients are, which are sometimes between 10 and 40 different chemicals, all chemicals. And a lot of them are known carcinogens, including benzene.
Whoa.
So they do not have to tell you those ingredients.
Yeah, I certainly had no idea. I just thought fragrance was a fancy way of saying it has a nice smell.
No,
I did not know
it's
it,
really,
that it meant.
in our industry, we call it the other F word.
Yeah.
So it's, if you can avoid the word fragrance on anything you buy, you are making a big step in the right direction to getting toxic chemicals out of your system. And so you wouldn't be sleeping in these chemicals if you're washing your sheets with fragranced laundry soap, your shampoo. I mean, it's endless, unfortunately. And this is where you will start seeing a lot of fragrance-free items out there. You have to be careful. The word perfume is considered also in that trade secret, or perfume. And a lot of companies are starting to realize the consumer is angry and mad that they are poisoning us with these chemicals. So Johnson & Johnson is starting to disclose the ingredients in their products, which is starting to get some of them to change. Target, I believe in 2 years, everything has to be disclosed on every label that they sell at Target, something like that I read. So if you can make that one change, that's a huge step in the right direction, because it is overwhelming. And start looking at your products, realize that there are potentially harmful chemicals in there, and go look for something new when you're done with your shampoo, conditioner, whatever you're using. So make that one simple step. You're gonna avoid a lot of chemicals in a matter of time that eventually will leave your system, but you have to stop using them.
Yeah, that's great. So be aware, number one. Mm-hmm. Check out, look for the other F word, fragrance. If you see that, run in the opposite direction. And if words are more than 26 letters long, I'm just kidding. But
Right,
yeah,
right,
if they're
right.
these really interesting words that don't look like it would be something that you would like if that was the name of the product, you probably wouldn't drink it, right? So
Right.
I think there's a lot going on there. And what is actually refreshing is it does sound like it's a power of the people situation where enough people have woken up, enough people have been making smarter decisions. And I feel like businesses know that there's actually money in health now. More people are going to the gym. We talk about going to the gym, even if we're not going, we're saying we want to be there. People are health conscious more than ever before. We have YouTube, Google, all kinds of books and resources, and people can listen to your podcast and get all kinds of great information. And that's now where the money is, not in being silent. People, I
Mm-hmm.
think brands realize that by trying to just throw the word fragrance in there, that worked in 1940. That's not cool in 2020. 2022 now, we're 2 years past that. But so people are smarter than ever before, and the money is starting to follow it, which is great. And then the difference is you're going to have like big name like health companies that come in and essentially try to monopolize, or you have Teas Organics, a more locally grown product. And yeah, please
Yes.
show off some of your products, Teas Organics. And what I loved seeing this, a little Buffalo love here for you, you and I both being from Buffalo. These are they packaged in Buffalo or also on the products are sourced here too?
Yeah, everything's sourced here. This is a blue cobalt glass jar, and it's produced by Bison Botanics here in Buffalo. And
Amazing.
it's every ingredient is on the label. I have no
Yeah,
trade secrets. Could somebody steal my recipe? Of course they could. But it's more important to me to be safe for the environment, safe for families, than it is to make $1 million like Johnson and Johnson's doing off of their
sure.
products, or Procter and Gamble. So so it's purified water, vinegar, and 7 different essential oils. That, by the way, cleaning supplies is, I mean, we could talk about an hour on cleaning supplies and how toxic they are and what they're doing and harming your immune
Let's do
system.
at least a minute, though. I was going to actually
Yeah,
transition to that because,
okay.
yeah, we're talking about putting stuff on our bodies and we're talking about
Mm.
shampoo and the foods we eat. And you want to look at all those labels, and that's absolutely important. But a lot of times, and I'll use myself, when you're cleaning or someone in the home is cleaning and you feel like you're doing good because you're cleaning and maybe you're, getting dust particles off. But if you're using products now that you're spraying on the countertop, and now everybody's eating off of that countertop, or that's where the food's presented, and everybody comes around and gets their serving, or they're sitting at the table that was just clean, a beautiful wooden table that has some kind of wood cleaner that came by that has chemicals in it. So now, even when you're cleaning, you could actually be doing some harm. So talk about that and what we can be mindful of in the home.
So growing up, we just used vinegar and water. Okay. So the 40s, 50s, 60s, all these chemical companies came in and said, oh, you've got to have this to clean and kill germs. And so it's a massive market, the cleaning product industry. And if you ever walk down that aisle, I can't walk down the aisle. Thankfully I have a mask on these days, but it's all, those are all chemicals outgassing from all those products.
You could
That is
smell it. You
smell
feel
it.
like this. You feel like you're in a
Yes.
chemical plant. Yeah.
Yes, that is what is getting into your home. That is what is getting into your lungs. That is what you are breathing in. And you think you're doing good by cleaning your kitchen counter or toilets with all this, but you are eventually polluting the indoor air of your home, which, by the way, our indoor air typically is 2 to 10 times more polluted than outdoor air because of all these chemicals that we are bringing into our homes and cleaning with and using and et cetera. So cleaning supplies, you don't need 10 different cleaning supplies. I created this because I was using it, giving it out as gifts, and everyone's like, you have to, we can't live without it. So it is an all-purpose cleaner exactly for that reason, except for windows because it has oil in it. But it's
Sure.
also got essential oils, also have property, antiviral property, antibacterial property. You don't need all those chemicals that they're telling you need, ammonia and all these other ones, where you are harming your immune system. We need our immune systems boosted right now, obviously. Everybody wants a boosted immune system. So these chemicals can be suppressing your immune system. Your immune system, your body has to work hard, really hard to get these chemicals out of your system. You are spraying them wherever else you're putting them, breathing, you're putting them on your skin. We have to somehow detox them from our systems. And they are causing allergies. They could be causing you headaches. They could be causing sneezing. You might think it's the outdoor air. It's probably your indoor air. If you have some type of congestion, a lot of headaches they can cause. Watery eyes. And then you go into the horrible things of cancer and all the other illnesses that these chemicals are causing. So if you can start looking at your cleaning supplies and you do not need one for they want you to think you need one for everything. You need one for wood. You need one for
7 products. Sure.
Of course, it's about marketing. You don't need all those products to clean with. So
yeah. That's awesome. I'm going to, again, send people to your website, which is thegreenlivinggurus.com, because there's going to be more resources there, more about T's Organics product line. Usually what I do on the show is I'm kind of hesitant to have someone come on and I didn't want this to feel like an infomercial, and it definitely is not. It's more educational, letting people know, look, there's alternative products out there. Here's why it's important. Go get more information, come back here, listen to this interview again, or at least part of it where you feel you can pick it back up and make little changes, like these little changes in life. And if you're using 7 products and you go down to 3 and you're only using more healthy products with things that you feel good about, that's a little change that goes a long way. What I'd like you to do is I think it was the first interview I produced for your podcast, was talking about, was it the lead-free mama? I have it in my notes.
Yep,
lead-safe mama, Tamara Rubin. Can you share her story quick about, like, wasn't it her son that there was lead in this home that they purchased and they found? Can you share that story just to give people a real life situation of how important this stuff is?
Yeah. So her front porch was being scraped. I believe it was Portland, Oregon, and she had kids in the house, and he did not cover the doors properly, and just a little bit of dust got into her house of this lead paint, and her kids got extremely sick. She had 3 kids. 2 of them ended up in the hospital. They said, you have to move out of that house immediately. They had to literally walk out of that house and never go back because of how toxic it was. Unfortunately, 2 of her kids, one's pretty bad, has some disabilities.
Some permanent disabilities that were from a contractor who promised her, yeah, we're fine, this is safe, but it wasn't, and they just lied about it, right?
Yeah.
And so now her life and her children's lives are directly impacted. That's how serious it is to be mindful of what's going on.
Yeah, all the time. And lead is everywhere because it was in our paints, especially where we are in Buffalo, New York. It's no longer in paint, thankfully, but it still can exist if you're in an older home, if you strip, your paint or woodwork or something.
I feel like a lot of people are like, it's kind of the new cool thing is to get a little bit of an older home that has kind of that rustic feel and modernize it. But when you do that, you have to be extremely careful about what is there and what's told to you that's there, meaning, oh yeah, we're selling this house. Yeah, they renovated it back in, the mid-90s or something, and it's all lead free. Get a second opinion, right? Before you start putting your kids in their bedrooms and
there's great tests, lead tests. Yeah. I just interviewed somebody that has a lead test business kit. So they're accessible and it's easy. I mean, I have one here. I just test once in a while different things for the fun of it. So
that's awesome. Guys, T has over 90 episodes out that you guys can tune into, and really to cover all of the topics on there, we would literally be here for a whole week doing this interview. There's things she talks about. We mentioned lead so far. We talk about the products that we eat, things that we put on our skin, things that we clean our tabletops with, or really cleaning our toilets and all kinds of stuff at home that we can be mindful of. In each of her episodes, she's interviewing an expert in different fields. Sometimes it's, overcoming. I know you had guests on that overcame type 2 diabetes because they changed what they're eating.
Danny Baldwin.
Danny
That was
Baldwin,
Danny
yeah.
Baldwin, Alec Baldwin's brother, yeah.
Right. You've had so many tremendous people on. You have doctors on. You've had people with incredible comeback stories. So I love tuning into the content, and I learned so much from working on your show. And I really encourage people, if you really enjoyed the conversation with T, it doesn't end here. There's 90 plus episodes available on Apple, Spotify. They're also available on YouTube as well. Answer one more question. And
yeah,
this is really
whatever,
just gonna,
I'm good.
It's not designed to be a curveball, but it's allowing people to know a little bit more about the rest of your story and where you're looking to go with it. If you can identify kind of your legacy that you're creating, right? You're the author and protagonist in your own story, and you get to write that ending. You get to write the legacy. What do you want that to be?
I want to make impact, not only on people's lives, but an impact in Washington. I want some rules and laws to change, and for the better of all of us, and especially women and makeup. Our makeup is so polluted with chemicals, and we are not told this. So I am working on behind the scenes with politicians and fighting for rights. So there's, one of these days I'll be marching to Washington. You'll see me with something in my hand, a sign, but it's really getting the word out there and getting people, citizens, to take charge of their own health and their own lives. And if I can make one change in someone's lives, I'd be happy. So I get little messages once in a while. Once a DJ here in Buffalo said, I don't use dryer sheets anymore, and I don't eat microwave popcorn anymore because of you. And that makes me so happy, because you don't always know what effect you have on somebody with all this information I'm putting out there. But when I hear those messages, it really makes me continue on even more.
Yeah, that's the purpose piece of it. That's exactly what you're doing. I want you to remember and give yourself some self-love. I always love that question because it allows me to see where someone is in their story. And you've done so much of that already. You continue to do what you're doing. You're there. I usually see T marching in red and blue, and she's got these big hats on, and she's at Bill's parades, and she's at the games. But I definitely would love to see you marching and what you believe in to help people make their homes and their lives more green. T. Forton-Barnes, thank you so much for your time today. Looking forward to more content from your podcast and your products, and I'll be a happy customer myself.
Absolutely. Thanks, Mike, for everything that you're doing too, and for assisting me with my podcast. And thanks for having me on today.
I'd like to give a huge shout out to everyone for tuning in, especially those who listen all the way to the end to hear this message. Seriously, I appreciate you, and my guests do as well. Giving a quick reminder to subscribe to this show. It's completely free and will allow you to receive notifications when new episodes are released. If you'd like to provide a tip as a gift, you can do so via patreon.com/MikeDup. It's spelled MIKED up. Patreon.com/MikeDup. You can give as little as $1 per month or as much as you'd like. Every dollar is greatly appreciated and completely unexpected. Appreciate your reviews and your messages coming in on social as well. Keep them coming. Your feedback is valuable and absolutely means the world to me. You can check out more episodes and content at mikeduppodcast.com. We're powered by Social Chameleon. You can also follow me on Instagram. That's where I'm the most active, and it's at Mike DiCioccio, MikeDiCioccio. Thank you so much for your continued support. You guys know what to do. Be great and be grateful.